Okay, so we have to do something real quick before we go up the clock tower. After midnight, any night I believe, you can head into the Stockpot Inn. Well, I don't think you can head into the Stockpot Inn, you know, on the first or second nights because it'll be locked, in which case you'll have to use the back door, but I digress. Anyway, after midnight, go to this room, give him a piece of paper, namely this land title deed, if you don't need it anymore. This land title deed could be used in a different sequence of events, however, we cannot access those on this 3-day cycle, so it'd be perfect to get rid of it right now. That'll give you your first, or not your first, your second piece of heart, excuse me. I don't know. What the heck? So there's Skull Kid. Doesn't have a lot to say. Swamp Mountain, Ocean Canyon. So those are the 4 main areas in the game, along with Clocktown. We'll be visiting those 4, and along with the ranch, over the course of this walkthrough, obviously. There's 1 dungeon each of them, minus the ranch. So, yes, this game only contains 4 dungeons. However, it's still a fantastic game. What to do? Okay, once the sequence starts, aim at the Skull Kid, use a bubble attack, and he will drop your ocarina. So what do you do now? Obviously, you pick it up. Then apparently Link will have some sort of freaky deaky flashback, and then he'll remember the Song of Time, and then yeah, good stuff. This is the only time we see Zelda throughout this whole game, and you could argue that you're technically not even seeing her, but I digress. I digress a lot. So, she wants to give you the Ocarina of Time for some reason, but first, you gotta learn the Song of Time. And it's funny because I think the game actually says, you remember the Song of Time. So it's like, thank you. Thanks for reminding me. Same thing happens with the Song of Storms. Yep, you remember the Song of Time. So this, the Song of Storms, and Epona's song are the only 3 I think that are recycled in this game from Ocarina of Time. I think. I can't recall the others. Yeah, let's just go with that. Anyway, the rest of the songs are all new, which is neat. But first, you need to equip your Ocarina of Time, play the Song of Time, and that'll restart the first 3-day cycle. Song of Time is much more useful in Majora's Mask than it is in Ocarina of Time. In Majora's Mask, you restart from day 1, dawn of the first day, as that says. It sort of saves your game, and you lose all your stuff, all your disposable items, which I believe I mentioned last part. So, yeah, keep that in mind. But before we restart the dawn of the first day, we have to watch this cutscene. Do not worry, this is the only time this cutscene plays when you play the Song of Time. The rest of the time, it just directly shoots you back to the dawn of the first day. This reminds me, remember in the first part where I mentioned a couple things that people had a lot of trouble with in my walkthrough, my original walkthrough? I just thought of another one. When you learn the Song of Time, you automatically learn the inverted Song of Time and the Song of Double Time. Okay? It doesn't show up in your status screen, but you know all three of those songs. Song of Time, Song of Double Time, and Inverted Song of Time. Song of Double Time is just right, A, down, I believe. And it pushes you forward half a day. You can play it as many times as you want, except for on the night of the final day. I don't think it lets you. And Song of Inverted Time, which I'm going to play right now, that slows down time, which is very, very useful. I highly recommend you use that one. And you'll know if time is slowed down because obviously time will be moving slower, and your icon in the bottom of the screen will be blue instead of green. Anyway, now that we have our ocarina back, we are going to talk to this guy. He'll teach us another song, and then we will get our first mask, our first transformation mask. I wonder what it could be. Ooh. Feels so good to actually be able to play the songs now. Because if you guys remember from my original walkthrough, those of you who watched it, I had a load of trouble with two things. Probably more, but the two that pop up on the that stick out the most to me were playing songs and aiming with the arrow, or the bow and arrow, sorry. Those things are mostly not a problem now, for the most part. I still might have a little trouble here and there, but, you know, that's me. I fail at every step. Ooh. Oh no, I haven't been doing too bad yet. I've recorded footage up until the end of the Great Bay Temple, and I can only recall a couple spots where I have trouble. So that's nice. But we'll reach those spots when we get there. Anyway, the Happy Mask Salesman asks for his mask back. Obviously we don't have it. So he flips crap. Goes frickin' insane. Nearly kills Link. Then I think he has a heart attack or something. Then he tells you about Majora's Mask. Creepy. What I want to know is, what did he do? Like, actually, what did he actually do to get that mask? I'm curious. But of course, along with everything else in Majora's Mask, it's just a huge mystery that's never been answered. So with that, we can go back into Clocktown, and I believe the rest of this video I just take care of some small errands and stuff. I think we just reached the field, Termina field, at the end of this video. Go figure. So, I assume the first thing I do... No? I have no idea what I'm doing right now. Oh, I think I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna get 100 rupees. Another thing to note in this game, whenever you restart a 3-day cycle, all small chests become unopened again, or their items return, if that makes sense. So, there's a few chests in Clocktown that contain, say, 100 rupees, 50 rupees, 20 rupees. If you open those, play a Song of Time, and restart the 3-day cycle, those chests will be filled with the rupees again, which is very useful because you could open those chests, deposit the money in the bank, go back in time, restart your cycle, you'll still keep the money in your bank, and those chests will have the money in them again. So basically it's infinite money, which doesn't make sense, but then again, whenever you talk about time travel, nothing makes sense, so let's just go with it. So I guess the first thing I do is I get that 100 rupee chest, deposit it in the bank, I'm assuming, after I strike that owl statue. By the way, saving in this game is a little bit different from Ocarina of Time. Those owl statues, there's 2 in each area. You have to strike it with your sword. I don't think anything else works, just your sword. That'll activate it, then you can save there at any time. Which is kind of inconvenient because back in Ocarina of Time, you could just bring up the status screen, press B or whatever, and you could save right there. Unfortunately, that's not the case here. But yeah. So, another thing to note about the bank is at specific intervals, after you've deposited so much, he'll give you a reward. And there's only 2 significant rewards that we care about, the one at 200 rupees and the one at 5,000 rupees. When you deposit 200 rupees, he'll give you a bigger wallet, which obviously we want, especially if we want to get all the masks. So that's going to be on our to-do list. 5,000 rupees, I will probably not be getting that much in this walkthrough. And once you deposit 5,000, which is the max he can hold, by the way, but once you deposit 5,000, he will give you a piece of heart. If you want to get rupees fast, I think the best course of action, besides the chest method I talked about, is to go to the northern Termina field during the day, I think, and fight Dodongos. If you defeat Dodongos, I think they drop 50 rupees apiece, which is useful. However, you should be warned that Dodongos are very tough, and it takes a lot of hits to kill them if you only have your regular Kokiri sword. So I'd recommend you at least wait until you get the upgraded sword before you even attempt to do that. Anyway, so we're gonna save the Great Fairy again, and this time we're gonna get our first regular mask, which I believe I said before, it's very useful. It is. But first I guess she's gotta heal me, even though I don't think I'm injured. Okay. There we go. Our first mask is the Great Fairy's mask. And although it might look terrifyingly stupid, like I said, it's actually quite useful in dungeons. The dungeons in this game, each of them have 15 stray fairies, like the one we got and returned to this fountain. But there's 15 of them, like I said, in each dungeon. If you collect all 15 in a dungeon and return them to its appropriate fairy fountain, you'll get a special power-up. In Woodfall, you'll get an upgraded spin attack. Snowhead, you'll get a double magic meter. Great Bay, you'll get double defense, or those white outlined hearts from Ocarina of Time. And Stone Tower, you'll get the Great Fairy Sword. The most useful of those is probably the... it's a tough... It's a tough call. It's either the double magic meter or the double defense. Both of those are important, and the upgrade spin attack's alright, I guess. And I rarely use the Great Fairy Sword. So, however, I will be getting all the stray fairies, so you can, have a guide for that. And I'll be showing you the appropriate fairy fountains. I believe I forget to get the upgraded spin attack right away in Woodfall, but I do get it eventually, so don't worry about that. But anyway, what you just saw me doing was entering the hideout as a human, exiting, and then getting the bomber's notebook. You can do that to get the notebook, or you could do that minigame again where you have to find all 5 bomber kids. But with that, I think we've completed all our errands in Clocktown, and we can now head to the field.